Welcome to Trailhead number 6 in this, our third series on the Anglican tradition. As I've mentioned in earlier parts of this series, I'm focusing more in this third section on the Anglican Church of Canada, her history, her development, and some of the contemporary issues that are being faced. I have touched consistently, in one sense like a golden thread, in this particular third series on Red Toryism in Canada. The language of Red Toryism emerged in the 1960s from Gad Howard, a very, very important Canadian political philosopher, who saw in George Grant what he called a red Tory, in someone who was a conservative, but not a conservative in the same sense as American Republicans. He was someone deeply concerned with a national vision for what it meant to be a Canadian, the relationship of the Anglican Church of Canada to that national vision, and how the unique and distinctive Canadian way was very different from American Puritanism, and how Canada, north of the 49th, existed as a new Athens of sorts. To be in North America, a distinctive understanding of faith which was quite different and radically opposed to the American experiment to the south. Now, Red Toryism, in that sense, has mostly been a term which is applied to the political sphere. Red, of course, being the language of the left. You'll get, obviously, in the former USSR, the language is red. In China, it's red. So red, as a metaphor within the political sphere of political ideology, tends to indicate, when unpacked, a leftist tradition. Now, when we speak of Red Toryism in Canada, again, we think mostly, when people ponder Red Toryism and the relationship of the Anglican Church of Canada and Red Toryism, we think within a political framework. What's the relationship, when faith is fleshed out in the public sphere, of the Church's response and responsibility to what is going on in Canada, where there is poverty, where issues of militarism, when there is violence in the world? How are Canadians to respond both through the state and the state as it engages the Church in this? Now, what are the spiritual roots of Red Toryism? As I said, when we think red, we tend to think leftist politics, but red is also the color of the Church. It's also a significant color in the liturgical life of the Church. Pentecost is the season in which the Church was birthed in Acts. It was birthed by fire. Fire is red. And in the liturgical year of the Church, when the priests have their vestments on and their stole is put on, or other colors, it is red. Red is the color of purification. It's the color of refinement. It's the color of birth. It's the color of being passionate about faith and the journey. It's about the color of burning off the impurities of our false self, so the gold of our true self, our eternal self, emerges. And so the very birth of the Church, its spiritual roots, both personally and communally, is the color of red itself. As I mentioned also, red is the color of fire. And in our own journey, both personally, communally, historically, red is the color of fire. And fire, by its very nature, burns the wheat from the dross. It burns wheat from the chaff, the gold from the dross. And again, you see in the life of the Church, if transformation and deification is at the very heart of the faith journey within the body of Christ and in the world, then the burning off of what we are not, so what we are will be revealed as the pure gold and silver of faith. The spiritual roots of Red Toryism go right to the very heart of red as the color. And in the liturgical life of the Church, again and again, we return to the color of red as that which purges us so that we are united once again as a people of God. And it's out of a deeper understanding of the spiritual roots of Red Toryism that comes a critique of the ideological nature of political Red Toryism, and brings the political understanding of Red Toryism to a much deeper historical, liturgical, transformative level, so that political Red Toryism does not become purely an ideological reaction to Blue Toryism or the right.